December 2022 to celebrate the third Sunday of Advent. It's been that long? Wow. Today, Reverend Kathy's talk is Change Happens, inspired by the light of New Thought women. It's in honor of Women's History Month, which is all of March. And here's some tidbits about Reverend Kathy. She's an ordained minister through Centers for Spiritual Living, and for over 9 years has been executive director of the Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation. For 4 years, she was a member of CSL's Heart of Peace initiative. She was executive director of a rural domestic violence shelter and Safe Pets program for 10 years and led a weekly empowerment group so that same shelter for additional 5 years. Currently, she shares spiritual wisdom on her Spirit Song Creations Facebook page. Good to know. She has lived in Bailey, Colorado for 30 years, and she's got a labyrinth on her land. Welcome back, Kathy. Okay, now we're going to read our mission statement together. Have a little moment of silence here, right? Pause. It's always good to pause. Mark, our mission statement. There we go. We are an inclusive spiritual community where we recognize and express our oneness with our Creator and all creation. Okay, for those who are here for the first time or the second time, welcome. It's so great to see new faces. We're so glad you're with us today, and we're willing and able to support you on your spiritual journey wherever you are. Please make sure to see one of our ushers to pick up a visitor form and then return it to an usher or give it to our office administrator. If you like, please join us afterwards down that hall for our friendship hall where we have food and cookies and coffee and great conversation. Just follow the crowd after the service. The flowers today. They were provided by Yolanda Holt in celebration of the March birthday of her father, James, and her sister, Patricia. Thank you, Yolanda. If you would like to bring flowers for Sunday service, then please sign up on the bulletin board or contact me. Okay. There was a rainbow meditation before the service today in our new meditation room, which is also the library and the prayer chaplain room. If you would like to lead a 20-minute meditation before the service on Sundays, please see Marlene. Or sign up on the bulletin board. Okay, an important announcement here. Unity's Board of Trustees annual business meeting has been rescheduled. It was going to be March 17th, but has now been moved to March 24th at 12 o'clock right here in the sanctuary. All members and non-members are welcome. If you are not able to attend but would like to vote for the 2024-26 board member nominees, then please contact Yolanda for the absentee board ballot. Remember that only members can vote to elect new board members, but everyone's invited to the meeting on the 24th at noon. The Unity Board of Trustees nominees are Linda Anthony, Debbie Lacey, Todd Smith, and Charlotte Wilson. Their pictures and their information, application information, is on the bulletin board. Westside Care Food Pantry and Clothes Closet. March is one of the 4 months annually that Unity Community is asked to provide food, toiletry, and clothing items for Westside Cares. Please see the list of needed items in the eBlast newsletter or pick up a list on the Westside Cares cabinet in the foyer. It's that wall there. If you'd like to bring your donations to Unity instead of bringing them to Westside Cares, then a volunteer will deliver them to Westside Cares. All right, Marlene, you're up. We've got a fundraiser. Big money. Yep.
She's crazy. I'm Marley Milner, and I have 3 pieces of beautiful, beautiful original art, one-of-a-kind art, that was created by my late husband, and I want to sell it to hopefully someone here, just because of the heart-centeredness that comes with each one of us. I know that for sure. What I'm going to do is donate 50% of the sale price to Unity. I have them priced at gallery prices, so we can generate some money for us, and I will be transparent here, obviously a little money for me as well. But I would love to have the energy of William be in somebody's house and where he would be safe and honored. So this is one of the pieces right here. And it's in 3 pieces. So you can use it any way you want. When you go down to the hospitality room on your left, it's the second door down, the table and original carpet is set up, and it's called Reflection. It's a table where the rug itself reflects the pattern in the table. You can see it. It's inlaid marble. So anyway, if you're feeling that this matches your heart in more than one way, I'd love to have you have it in your home.
Thank you, Marlene. Okay. All right. And now, Debbie. Can everybody hear us okay in the back?
Thanks. I'm Debbie Lacey, and I am here to invite you to a class. And I brought the books that we're going to look at in the class. But let me just tell you that I am a psychologist and a school psychologist. And my passion and the reason I went into psychology is really psychology is the study of the soul. However, in the profession, there isn't, or wasn't, when I started in 1990, a lot of talk of spirituality. But there is so much science regarding spirituality. And so these are my 2 favorite books we're going to take a look at. It's an 8-week class, and we'll spend 3 weeks on this book, which is Edgar Mitchell was an astronaut. When he came back, he founded an institute. These are some psychologists who interviewed 41 masters of different spiritual traditions to look at the commonalities in spiritual transformation. And then this book is called The Awakened Brain. It's more newly published. My jacket isn't here because the jacket is on my vision board. But this is a psychologist that started practice, Lisa Miller, about the same time that I did, and she both had her practice and her research focused on the topic of the science of spirituality. So I brought them both so that if you're interested in the class, you could come and see me afterwards. It's hard juggling things up here. It's on Tuesdays, 3 to 5, starts on March 26th and ends before Memorial Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Sounds wonderful. The Sacred Women's Circle March monthly meeting has been moved from March 23rd to March 16th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. The group will be making flower boutonnieres for everyone to wear for our St. Patrick's Day service on March 17th. To join us Sacred Women with the boutonniere making, please RSVP. and you'll find all that information on the e-blast. The Unity Lending Library has been moved this week to the former bookstore. Please visit our new location. Check out a book, read it, and enjoy. A reminder, you can find out more information on all these activities in the weekly Unity e-blast newsletter and on the Unity Facebook page. Now it's time to move into the heart of our time together. I invite you to take a deep breath. Let it out long and slow. And settle into your seat as we open our hearts and mind through song. Lindsay.
Please join me in singing the congregational song, Surely the Presence. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Good morning. Today's day. Can you hear me all right? Today's daily word is timeless. In timeless moments, in the silence, I discover myself anew. I relax and let go, withdrawing my attention from my surroundings. Deeply, breathing deeply and rhythmically, my mind relaxes and my heart opens. I enter my sacred inner sanctuary. Here I have no awareness of time. I hear no words. I think no thoughts. I feel no separation. There is only the richness of silence, the awesome presence of infinite life, love, and wisdom. I am one with this presence. The time and attention I devote to my regular practice of meditation builds deep, abiding peace and clarity in my consciousness. In these timeless moments, I discover I have all I need. Enough strength, understanding, love, and time to progress along my path and accomplish all that is mine to do. And then from Revelation 21:1, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. I now invite you to rest your hands in your lap, close your eyes, and move your attention to your breath. Feel your breath flowing in and out. Breathe in light and love. Then as you exhale, let go of any tension or concerns that may have been weighing on your heart or mind today. Just rest and be still in this moment, in the silence, where we can know our oneness with our Creator and all creation. As we return from the silence, we affirm the truth of our being.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be back here with you all this week. And our first song is a song that I know as we hear about all of these beautiful, brave women through the talk that have made changes through history, that they heard an inner calling, an inner pressing, an inner desire that may have sounded a little bit like this. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I won't rest now while you play small. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I won't stand down till you stand tall. I'm not frightened, yeah, I'm not afraid. I don't walk my life in shackles of shame. I'll be standing here day and night till you're brave enough to be who you might. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I don't rest now while you play small. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I won't stand down till you stand tall. You can turn away, yeah, you can shield your eyes, but boy, you're in for a big surprise. You think I'm your enemy and I'm no fun, but once you let me in, your house will shine full of sun. Beat at your window, holler at your door. I won't rest now while you play small. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I won't stand down till you stand tall, 'cause what you hide from is what you seek. You can't live your life from the comfort of your seat. So open up this window, open up this door. The wind of change is gonna carry you home. Beat at your window, holler at your door. I won't rest now while you play small. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I won't stand down till you stand tall. Beat at your window, holler at your door. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I'm gonna beat at your window, holler at your door. I'm gonna beat at your window and holler at your door.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. That was powerful. Powerful, yeah. Yeah, that's what is ours to do this day. So good morning. Good morning. And our topic today, one of them, is about change. Change. Is there anyone here experiencing any change in your life? That was the correct answer. Thank you. Yeah, and how many people really enjoy change? Right. Some do, it really kind of depends on the change if you think about it. And I'm going to oversimplify, that change can come in two different ways, right? Some are change that we have initiated. Like maybe we want to go back to school and learn more, and then there's change that kind of happens to us. Perhaps like the time change, the time change this morning, and all those kind of changes, it really kind of depends on how we approach it, really, is if we find peace with it, or if we can find love or joy. Because life just happens. It's all about change. And I have some slides here that Mark is going to help me with. And I talk about change. Your AV team rocks, as they hung with me with a PowerPoint that I'm going to share. And so maybe this feels like change. Yep. And the next slide, please. I'm at that awkward stage between birth and death. And anyone else, kind of an awkward kind of stage, right? You know, there's a lot going on there in between that stage. And then the next slide is a haiku, if I can say that right, about being an adult. I'm so tired. Where did all of my money go? My back is hurting. You know, I know that, right? Kind of about being an adult. And today we're going to have a new thought. And our new thought is this next slide. I love waking up to the smell of the universe conspiring in my favor. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love waking up to the smell of the universe conspiring in my favor. And so we're going to learn about some inspiring wisdom of the women of New Thought. I was very, very blessed. Next slide, please. To be on this panel at the Parliament of the World's Religions this past August 2023. And we had a panel from New Thought Archives, and we presented these inspiring women that were really the founders of this faith, this philosophy. Perhaps you know, how many people have heard the term New Thought? Yeah? Yeah, because unity is part of this organization called New Thought. You know, and just going back to change. So I work at the Science Mind Archives and Library Foundation, and in my work life, we've been housed out of this building for 13 years. We've had donated rent, we have this beautiful space, and they're selling the building, don't you know, right? And so we're like keepers of our history. So we have 4,400 square feet of museum items, archival artifacts, and a 12,000 book library that we get to find a new place for and to move, right? Yeah, so there's that change. And then in my life, my beloved JT, who you've met here before, he proposed to me a month ago, right? I was going to say, you're assuming I said yes. And so, yes, I did say yes. And so it's kind of a wonderful thing. But that's change, right? Change just kind of happens in our life. And just even in your community here, I know that there's some change going on, you know, with your ministers. And there comes a place where you have to come from that place of trust and faith, right? When change happens. You know, we can use a new thought to believe in the good that's unfolding. And you have such a beautiful community here. It's such a blessing to be here with all of you again today. And what about your personal life? Again, a couple people said that there's some change going on in your life. You know, I invite you to take whatever that is that's calling into your heart, you know, and to hold it to you and to use it, because we're going to explore the powerful philosophy of New Thought wisdom, how it can support you in your life as you go through this interesting thing called change. And it is Women's History Month. And so I'm going to read a little bit. So again, I was on this panel discussion at the Parliament of the World's Religions. That's just fun to say, by the way. You know, I don't get to say that every day. It was quite the honor. And on this panel presentation with leaders of New Thought, we shared the powerful story of New Thought. And I love this description of it. It's a unique and revolutionary phenomena in world religious history, a faith tradition founded mainly by women that ordains primarily female clergy to this day. And the 5 major denominations that present it, and there's lots of independents too. New Thought, the International New Thought Alliance. It's a wonderful group that kind of brings it together. Divine Science, Unity, Religious Science, and the Universal Foundation for Better Living. And so I was just so blessed to learn more about them all. And we shared passages and teachings of these women founders, demonstrating the influence of matriarchal values in creating ministries rooted in peace, justice, love, and radical inclusivity. Does that sound like us? Yeah. It's a good thing. So I'm going to have Mark play this next. It's a short video overview. The whole video will be available soon at the Science Mind Archives YouTube channel. But I invite you to watch and open your heart to this video. I feel like I need your chant. Go.
It's the power of women. United we stand. We're making a difference when we join hands. It's the power of women who will heal this world. The power of women. The power of women. Power of women. The goddess, it's the matriarch, it's the maiden, it's the maiden. Every color, every race, through the ages it's been shown that the women have compassion. Women show the way to a world that's filled with peace and love. Let me hear you say, it's the power of women. United we stand. We're making a difference when we join hands. It's the power of women will heal this world. The power of women, yeah. The power of women. It's just the power of women. As we stand in this circle, feeling our connection, we can feel the power move as we state our intention to bring peace to this world, right all the wrongs, joining now in wrong, joining now in wrong, and saying it's the power of women, united we stand. We're making a difference when we join hands. It's the power of women will heal this world. The power of women, yeah. Power of women. It's the power of women. Power. Every single day I'm gonna take time to pray. Loving kindness to each person along my way. So what you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do with your power? What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do with your power? What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do with your power? You're women of power.
Reverend Paul Ski, and he just loves doing videos and creating them. And he's close friends with Karen Drucker, and he actually created 24 music videos for Karen Drucker and got permission to use her song. So anyways, that's pretty fun. All righty. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to start off, just again, so it'll be the highest level of overview. And I have two intentions for my talk here. One is to spiritually feed you with whatever you need as you're going through change. And the second one is to maybe make you a little curious to learn more about our New Thought history, to maybe explore and deepen your wisdom of this source wisdom of this beautiful teaching we have. And so we start off with the teacher of teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins. She was actually a student of Mary Baker Eddy way back in the day, and then they kind of had like a riff, because Mary Baker Eddy really wanted it her way or the highway. And Emma's like, I think there's another way. And so Emma kind of went on her own. And how inspiring that back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, she impacted over 50,000 people with her teaching without the internet, guys, so without the internet. And so I love this saying of hers, and I'll say it and then repeat after me. There's good for me, and I ought to have it. There's good for me, and I ought to have it. Let's say it one more time. There's good for me, and I ought to have it. Yeah, just take that puppy in, take it in. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a new thought too. Instead of feeling less than or shamed or whatever, no, the world is filled with this infinite goodness, and it's good, and we ought to have it. We ought to have it in our lives. And when we can just embody that one teaching, our whole lives can transform. And so the next slide, these are all, so again, she's the teacher of teachers, and the rest are her students. And this is Melinda Elliott Kramer. She is the founder of Divine Science. She suffered from tuberculosis her whole life, and then one day in 1885, she started treating herself and healing. She tuned in with that omnipresence of spirit. And she started teaching others this divine science out in the world. She was out in San Francisco, and she said, my God is my good. You say that? My God is my good. You betcha. And then the next slide is more divine science founders. So it gets people, there's actually two sets of women. So these are the Brooks sisters, who were in Pueblo, Colorado, and their whole family was riddled with health issues. And they heard about this teaching of this Mrs. Bigham, who was a student of Emma Curtis Hopkins. And all of a sudden, they just started going to her and learning about omnipresence, that God, that Spirit is omnipresence, which means we are omnipresent. We are one with that Spirit, that divine essence, that infinite intelligence isn't somewhere outside of us, but it's within us. And as soon as we can tune in and recognize that, we are whole, perfect, and complete. We are infinite abundance. Our world can be amazing. And so the Science of Mind Archives a couple years ago did a show called Wisdom of the Mystics on New Thought Media Network. And we would invite experts on the different areas of New Thought. And this one beautiful soul talked about Nona Brooks. And I was just so intrigued by her. And she talked about how she healed herself and then created this entire movement. So she actually worked with that Melinda Kramer out in San Francisco. Her sisters, so it was all these three sisters. They said, Nona, you need to go out there and study. And she goes, I can't afford it, I can't do it. So of course, they came up with the money and had her go out there. So she became a divine science minister. And it's like a female minister. She was the first female minister in Colorado. And they started the centers, the Althea Center in downtown Denver. It's just a gorgeous facility. I invite you to check it out. But again, I was just so intrigued from that video, Wisdom of the Mystics, and it's on our YouTube channel as well. I read her biography, Powerful is the Light, and it's her story of her evolution. And right now I'm reading Mysteries, how she talks about the different mysteries of life and how there are actually no mysteries at all, that just God is omnipresent and all good. And so it's and so her affirmation I brought out is, in God there are no mysteries, there's only light. In God there are no mysteries, there is only light. And I love the story of her healing. The doctors just wrote her off that she had a throat issue and she couldn't eat, and she was just becoming emaciated, and she didn't know what to do. And that day, the doctor said, there's no cure. She went to her class with Mrs. Bigham. She sat in class, and they had them repeat affirmations over and over. And all of a sudden, something happened. The room just filled with light. And she filled with light. And she was healed. And so she went to her sister. She goes, I'm healed. And they're told to speak. And her sister says, yeah. And she goes, no, I'm healed. This is real. And so it's just very powerful, this teaching of divine science, which is where we all come from, too. And you might, the next slide, I'm going to say that with a pause, is someone you might recognize. Maybe. So the next slide, please, is Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder and mother of Unity. And I love her affirmation here. You do not have a problem except for the one that's in your own mind, and you put it there. I think she taught straight talk. You do not have a problem except for the one that's in your own mind, and you put it there. Well, there you go. Right? I mean, it's really, and it's humbling. You're like, all right, I guess I did put it there. But that means the power is within you to change. The power is within you to change your thoughts, change your thinking, and change your life. And the next slide shows the women of Unity in the beginning. And there's a whole herd: Emily Cady, Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, Myrtle Fillmore, Reverend Mary May Rowland, and Reverend Catherine Ponder. And then the next slide shows the women of Unity today. And it was Reverend Linda Martella Whitsett is the one who presented at the Parliament with me. As you can just see, just powerful women in this teaching of unity and new thought. And then the next slide, please, is there's this feller, and his name is Dr. Ernest Holmes. I'm just going to wait for it for a minute. It's a dude. It's a guy. Yeah, we're talking about the women of New Thought, and here I got this guy up here. And that's okay, because he was very supportive of women. His whole path of life was influenced by women, and he continued to lead a primarily women movement of religious science or science of mind, currently known as Centers for Spiritual Living. So his mother, Anna Holmes, was just inspiring. She's always positive and said, no, there's good in the world, Ernest. There's good. And then his wife, Hazel Holmes, was very supportive in his personal practitioner. And then he was the last student of Emma Curtis Hopkins in 1924. She passed on in 1925, and he wrote the Science of Mind textbook in 26. And then the whole movement started in 27. And so his very first practitioner class, 76% were women, including his mom. His mom was one of the very first practitioners of the movement. And currently today, I ran some statistics from 1943 to 2023, and 76% of practitioners are women, and over 70% of ministerial students are women. So it's just really powerful. And here is a quote from Ernest as we talk about change. There's that divine essence, the Christ, at the center of each person's being. All confusion, whether it's objective, psychic, or subjective, whether it's outside or psychologically inside, will disappear if we stop listening to the confusion and listen to peace. But the confusion makes us deaf, and we don't hear the angel voice of that something within us that has never been confused at all. Let us listen to the self, learn to believe in the self, and to see and believe in what ought to be, until finally, out of confusion, we shall draw peace out of despair, life out of death, and hope. It's all within. That power is within us. And the next slide, please. This is just a powerful woman. I hope you folks have heard of her, and if not, you have now. Her name is Reverend Dr. Next slide. Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. And she started out as a unity minister. And I know. Hey, Mark, next slide. There we go. All righty. And her quote is, "It works if you work it." I'll repeat that, puppy. It works if you work it. Yeah, it works if you work it. And so she found she had an illness, and the doctor had just called and said that she wasn't going to make it. And in that moment, she got up, hit the table, and out dropped this magazine, and it was the Daily Word. And it had this wisdom, and she's like, oh my God, where'd this come from? And she wanted to learn more. So she went to ministerial school. And during the time that she went to ministerial school was a time of segregation in the world. And so she couldn't stay on campus. And she had to be off campus and drive 15 miles, 30 miles round trip to go to school. But she was the one who helped inspire that change. Here we're talking about unity, we're teaching unity, yeah, we're really not practicing it. And so her and her fellow students made it so African Americans could live on campus at Unity Village. And it was very powerful. And so she helped change that whole element. And she was the first African American ordained Unity minister. She had a pulpit in Chicago. But then something called to her for something greater. And she started the Universal Foundation for Better Living. 50 years ago. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. I'm very blessed that Reverend Dr. Sheila McKeithen was presenting with me at the Parliament so we could hear and learn about the power of Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. She is the matriarch of UFBL. It's a New Thought Christian network of ministries located in the United States, Canada, the Caribbean, and South America, with a following globally and dedicated to the commitment of inclusivity, peace, nonviolence, freedom, and justice. Yeah, so God bless Dr. Johnny Coleman. And you'll hear from her in just a little bit, too. So we'll go to that next slide. And so here's this wisdom, and just see what calls to your heart. What is it from these affirmations that you want to take home with you and use in your life? There's good for me, and I ought to have it. God is my good. In God there are no mysteries. There's only light. You do not have a problem except for the one that's in your own mind, and you put it there. And Ernest was, there's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you get to use it. And Johnny says, it works if you work it. It works if you work it. And so on the next slide, again, I printed up these little tiny sheets that have websites for you to explore further. And so if you're interested in learning about any of these New Thought denominations, they're just on the little table to the left when you walk out. And then the next slide, I like this little one. It says, I literally cut myself off in the middle of a negative thought like, girl, we don't have time for this, right? Girl, we don't have time for this. So to really notice, we get to notice our thoughts. We get to notice how we're thinking and what we're creating in our world and just stop, and say, we don't have time for this. And then start creating the world you do want. So whatever that bit of change that's going on in your world, I invite you to use this one. And the next slide. There we go. This is from me personally to you. Today I will live in the moment, unless the moment is unpleasant, in which case I will eat a cookie. That's another spiritual practice. And I brought you cookies, too. And so you will have them in your fellowship hall as well. And then the next slide is our affirmation for today. The power and light of Spirit is guiding me now. Let's say that together. The power and light of Spirit is guiding me now. Yeah, feel that, puppy. And then the next slide. I love this, from Amanda Gorman. There is always light, if only we are brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. And then the next slide we're going to hear, as we move into prayer, we're going to have Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman bless us.
To all of God's children everywhere, may the love of God illumine your way. May the will of God direct you every day. And may the very peace of God ever dwell in your heart. God bless you, everyone. Amen and amen.
So we just truly God bless us.
To all of God's
As we go through whatever changes is going on in each one of our lives, we deepen into that divine wisdom that is within us. We just turn within and we hear that divine guidance, that divine love, that divine peace that passes all understanding. And we know that there is good for me and I ought to have it. We know that God is that good. We know there's a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we get to use it. And we know if we use it, it works for us. And so I just know that each person here, tuning in and feeling into that divine presence, feels a sense of courage, a sense of bravery, knowing that the divine is walking with us and as us in this thing called life. And that God is just so good all the time. God blesses us that it is always good, that no matter what the conditions look like, we go higher, we rise up, and we rise up and feel and know the divinity, and we get to co-create our world, co-create our future, and co-create the good and very good that is in our lives. And it's just, and each one of us is blessed beyond measure. And we can affirm that by saying, and so it is. Thank you. Yeah. And so I'm so grateful to work with Lindsay here today with the music. And so I want to tell just a quick little story about this next song. So I have one daughter, her name's Isabella, and she's adorable. Well, actually, she's 24 now. I think she's still adorable. But when she was 7 years old, we were at Mile High Church one day, and they sang this song, okay? And, I was trying to be a good mom, so she did an adult thing with me, so I did a kid thing. And I went to a McDonald Playland with her. And they have, these things that you climb up, and you climb through the little netted things and go down slides and stuff. And you wonder how much a kid pays attention to, when you're at church service. And she went down the slide and she goes, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, I did it. I was brave," just like the song. Oh, there was this net thing, and she was so scared to climb through it before. But she did it. She remembered the song, and she was brave. So may each one of you be brave from hearing the song and in your life. Thanks.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, there are miracles in you and me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
Thank you, Lindsay. And thank you, Kathy. What would we do today if we were brave? Okay, so now is the time for the offering. That wonderful, brave, tithing ritual that we do. And we're going to, these are ways that you can give in person, by check, website, text to give, and now we're going to read our abundance affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And now together, if you could face the congregation, we all get to bless this tithing, whether it was done online, through automatic giving, or whether you put something in these blessed baskets today. Let's bless this tithing, these monies, this energy with love, with grace, with vision, and why not with bravery for our community, for our spiritual center, for our state, for our continent, and for our world. We bless this tithe, and so it is. And now we're going to recite together the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Okay. All right, so please join us in Fellowship Hall, and now we're calling it Friendship Hall, for coffee, tea, lunch, and some great conversation. Our prayer chaplains, Forrest and Jean Dutton, will be available to pray with you after service or in the sanctuary or in the prayer chaplain room. Wherever you are, whether it's in a place of celebration or a place of challenge, please take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to pray with Forrest and Jean. And now please stay in your rows, or we could try making a big circle, or maybe a little bit of both, as we sing together the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Go in power and go in peace.